Welcome to my garden.
Hi!
So this is a whole family project, and it's a backyard garden in Leeds, Yorkshire, the UK. I'll start off with giving you a quick tour. This is the first video for YouTube that we're doing. So this is the little seating area that we've got, old patio and a little grass bit to sit on. And there's my son being cheeky. This is a hand dug little stream and pond that we've got. We built it out of a old, with 14 fish. Yeah, that's right. We built it out of a old paddling pool that was going to be thrown away. So rather than send the plastic off to landfill, we used it for landfill ourselves and made a little pond. So we recycled that. The top flower bed, it looked really nice when it was in full bloom, but now it's a little bit worse for wear. And from there I can see a little hole that's been dug in by some sort of, maybe a fox or something.
It's a squirrel!
A squirrel?
Yeah, I seen the squirrel digging in there.
This is the children's play area
In there.
and my chicken hut.
Chicken!
So we've got our chickens here. There's a few chickens in there. They're normally free range when we're out, so I'll let them out now. They can come out and off they go. And the kids love them. I mean, the kids love playing with them. The kids love letting them run about. They do a great job for me. We've got nearly 2 foot of compost of wood chips in here, and what they'll do is they'll turn this over, they'll poo in it, they'll break it down, and come next spring this will be some of the best compost you can get. So this will turn into some of the best compost you can get. So I'll let that compost down over the winter. Let the chickens do their magic for it. And this is great for the garden. They're out here, they're scratching, they're eating bugs, they're eating bugs, they're scratching everything up, they're turning the soil over, and they're pooing in it. So they're doing a great job for us. This is the greenhouse that we built. So these doors are recycled doors. Someone was throwing them out, so we put them to a second use. Most of this wood is upcycled wood. A lot of it is recycled except the main posts. They're new pressure treated timber. The rest of it is upcycled wood. There's some chili plants that we've still got going in here. There's some chili still growing. So hopefully they'll last for another month or so, maybe even through the winter. Some Bangladeshi uri. It's mid-November now, and we've still got uri growing, beans growing here. Got Turkish aubergines back here. So I'll zoom into one of them so you can see what they look like. They almost look like tomatoes, bright red. They're softening up now, so they're beginning to ripen. Some Bangladeshi bamboo called bambusa, and that's I brought that over from Bangladesh myself. Some Bangladeshi lemons that we've grown from seeds from a lemon that we bought from our own lemon tree in Bangladesh in our village. So that's one of our own seeds that's there. So all of this is no dig. Even nearly all my beds outside, they're all no dig as well. There's a barrel full of compost that you'll see. This is some of the nicest compost that you can make. That's homemade compost made out of composted down wood chips over 2 or 3 years. Look how fine and crumbly that is. So that'll be part of my potting mix for next year. That'll be part of my potting mix for next year, and we'll use that to start the seedlings off in.
I want to have a phone book now.
And here is the first bed where I grew pumpkins last year. As you can see, I've got my winter onions in. The squirrels aren't leaving it alone. Every time I seem to put down fresh mulch, I've got a busy pair of squirrels that seem to be making holes everywhere and burying their acorns. There's the little pergola that I put, that we had our pumpkins growing up. There's a frame for our runner beans. There's my plum tree that is in serious need of a pruning. We'll sort that out at some point. There's my strawberry bed and my raspberry bed. Now my son's going to take over on the camera, but we'll carry on. We'll carry on talking. So this...
I want to talk.
The strawberry... Talk. Tell them this is our strawberry bed.
This is a strawberry bed.
That needs a bit of work on it.
It needs a bit of work on it.
So what we'll do is we'll take out these plants. We're gonna get rid of the old ones and put the new young ones down. Replant the young ones. We'll put down about a foot of mulch on here before we do that. I'll show you what I mean by when I mulch. This area is where I did the trench composting. I'm going to plant runner beans in here again next year. So I did trench composting, and then there's a foot of organic matter underneath, and then after the organic matter, then I've covered it with soil, and then on top of the soil there's another few inches of mulch, and this mulch is made out of semi-broken down wood chips.
Cool.
So let's move on to the next bed.
After you're done, can I do what I want to?
Yeah, you can make one. So this is our spinach. So some spinach here, some last stragglers of cabbages, and kohlrabi.
I have the camera.
See, my son wants to be the cameraman, so I'll let him do the cameraing, videoing. There's some kohlrabi still going, and what I've done with this, as I've taken things out just to get the bed ready for winter, what I do is I cover the whole bed with mulch, a good few inches of mulch, and let that break down over the winter. So this is the mulch. So that, if I keep going down there, that's where the soil.
Treasure.
That's where the soil. Yeah, the soil's the buried treasure. So as you can see, there's almost what's that? About 3-4 inches of mulch on there. And we'll let that cover.
Now can I do what I want? Look what I want to.
So there's the wide angle of the bed. We've still got lettuce and mulch growing in here. This is the borage. I've left that deliberately for as long as I can, just in case there's any stragglers from the bees that want a last minute winter feed. This again is another bed that I've mulched ready for winter. This, as you can see, this white stuff, this is all wood shavings that's left over chicken litter, so it's the bedding that the chicken use. And there's where the soil is. I can just keep digging down in there with my hand midwinter and it's still nice and crumbly, so we'll cover that back up and leave that to break down over winter. So yeah, we're just adding mulch to these beds and just leaving them for that mulch to break down over winter. This is number 1 garlic bed. Planted these back early October, late September, early October. I think this bed was early October and the other bed was late September. I think this bed was planted about 2 weeks before, but they're both the same size. We've had a really warm autumn so far, so they've gone off to a cracking start.
Cracking?
I've suffered a lot with garlic rust over the last couple of years, so hopefully if I can get them off to an early start this year, it won't affect us as bad. Now I've tried a new method with planting this garlic. Normally I get a lot of weeds, as most of you can tell. We get a lot of weeds amongst the garlic because of the fine leaves. So what I've done this year is I've put down a layer of initially I put down about 2 inches of compost, homemade compost, and then I put down a thick layer of cardboard and I covered the whole bed. And then in the cardboard I cut out little holes. So I cut out little holes in the cardboard, and then you guys helped, didn't you, as well? Mm-hmm. You guys helped plant the garlic. So we planted the garlic into the little holes, and then once we planted the garlic, we covered the whole we covered the cardboard again with another couple of inches of compost. Let the rains wash that compost down into the holes that we'd cut out, and then last week we put down another inch of mulch. So that will be good to go until they're finished now.
Wow.
This is where my fruit trees are. So I've got a pear tree, an apple tree, another apple tree. Now, initially, as you can see, I initially started off cutting this into the open goblet shape, but now my neighbours have built a dormer on their house. So I'm just going to let them grow so we can get some privacy from them. We've mulched this, same again with lots and lots of wood chips. So there's about 2-3 inches of wood chips there. I've not finished mulching it. I'll put some more wood chips down. We're waiting for a fresh delivery of wood chips. There's some bamboo, that's black cane bamboo, and then there's some normal green caned bamboo over there, waiting for that to grow, so we can grow our own canes rather than having to buy them. There's a little gooseberry bush. We had a bit of a tragedy. That fence came down when we had quite strong winds, and broke some of the bamboo limbs. And there's a little squirrel saying hello.
What?
That's one of the main culprits. He's been digging holes and planting acorns everywhere in my garden at the moment. So we'll let that gooseberry bush grow. We've got under the second apple tree we've got a red currant bush. So this is my red currant bush. I'm going to take some cuttings from there to try and propagate a couple more red currants. Yeah, and this is my composting / dumping / wood chip storage area, and I'll show you the different stages of compost. So this bag here is the one that I'm using as wood chip mulch and wood chip compost. So there's nothing else in here except wood chips. The last delivery I had was mainly conifer. As you can see, I don't know if you can see that, but there's some steam coming off there. So it's still breaking down, but that's mainly for mulching, and I'll let that compost down. This bag is wood chips. This is the old leaf. This is the old litter. This is the old litter from the chicken bed. So inside the chicken hut, this is the old litter. So it's the really old wood chips. So we're going to let this stay in here for the next couple of years and just let that compost down completely. And it'll hopefully end up into the stuff that I showed you that's in the greenhouse. These two bags are just storage for wood chips, and we'll use this for the chicken litter. So as we take out some chicken litter from over there, we'll replace it with this stuff. Now I'll make two types of compost. One is this semi-broken down stuff that's got lots and lots of big bits in it, and I primarily use this as a sort of winter mulch. And there's my son's foot getting in the way. So I primarily use this as a winter mulch. So we put this down. There's a few big bits in there, we can get rid of them. But normally what happens is, as we put the mulch down, the big bits settle on the top, the small bits go down to the bottom. This is my finished compost. This is a finished garden compost. As you can see, look how crumbly that is and look how fine it is. Oh, there's no smell left to that. It's just wonderful stuff. There's a little worm saying hello. So there's my final compost. And in the future I'll show you how I'll do the composting. There's a little hole that some critter dug, so I've just been filling, as I've been sifting the compost, I've just been filling that up with little bits of organic matter. So Toyib, do you want to cover that, fill that hole up again?
Hi.
Just click those wood chips in. That's it. So there you go. So the fox or whatever's dug that hole has done us a favour. We put some organic matter into the ground and just covered it up.
I think it was a
these are my composting bays. There's different kinds of composting system that I've got here. So I'll take you through the normal composting. This is the normal composting bay, these two bays. So what I do with this is I do the normal stacking the greens and the browns, and I'll show you that composting bay is done. So we're emptying taking the compost out of there, sifting it off, getting the old really huge bits, putting them back ready to go at the bottom of the next pile, and I'll show you as I build that compost pile. And then how I do the composting. This at the moment is just serving as a tote to store all the green matter that I'm going to use to build the next compost pile. So this is just a storage bin at the minute. And then again, this is my worm bin / leaf compost. So we're filling this with leaves that we've raked up over the last few weeks. I've got lots of worms in here, and the reason that I've got it in this system is as the rain comes down, normally that rain on the compost would go to waste, but because I've got one half of the IBC tote cut and the other half catching the rainwater that drains through, this is what I can do. So if you can see that, all the rainwater I can catch in there.
It looks like pea water.
It does. That's because it's got. So there's some nice compost tea full of worm juice, lots of worm pea. Now
Yeah,
I can take that water.
pea.
I can take that water and I can either use it to damp down the compost pile, or I can water the plants with it. So this is some of the mulch that I've made today. So this is the compost that we're taking off that compost pile. So as you can see, there's some still quite big bits in there, but the only time I really use this is as a mulch. So I'll add this over the top of these beds for the winter in order to get them ready for the winter, and I'll show you how we do that. So that's the tour of my garden and allotment, and hopefully I'll try and get some pictures of some of the produce that we had over the winter, over this last year, and we'll keep you updated on how this garden goes for the next year. So say goodbye everyone.